Good evening, my delightfuls, and welcome to this episode of the Virtual Dining Podcast. I'm your girl Rio Delight here, coming to you live from my office. Today we are December 7th, and we're actually coming near the end of the year. So it's gonna be really, really interesting to look back, to say the least. I haven't eaten. I've eaten prior to the podcast. I was like really super hungry because I worked super hard, like today. But aside from that, like I'm doing really well. I hope you guys are staying safe, and I hope you guys are doing well as well. So just to let you guys know that we have an amazing guest first and foremost. But before we get to that, just want to remind you all that my previous episodes are now available on my IGTV. So follow me at Ria_Delight for more content. And also you can have a sneak peek at my previous podcast that I did back in August called the LGBT Pillow Talk podcast. So I invite you guys to check that out as well. And yeah. My guest today is somebody who's close to my heart. I don't say this often, and he's one of the nicest people that I ever met. He's one of he has a super great heart as well. So I'm just gonna invite him, and you guys gonna get to know him too. So let's do. So yeah, I'm just waiting for my guest to connect with me. We're connecting.
Yep, yep.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I
This
haven't
is,
seen you in so long. Holy crap.
yeah, I'm trying to think of when was the last time we saw each other. I think it was at the Fringe, maybe, I think.
Could be at the Fringe, or if not, I remember we hung out once at Mad Hatters too. But it
Oh,
was
yeah,
most likely at the Fringe.
yeah. Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, oh my God.
Oh my
It's
god, it's
been,
been
it's
so
been so,
long.
yeah, I know, it's been crazy. How have you
Oh, I
been?
know. I've been really well, I'm just like really excited to be back at work to say the least. Like I remember when the whole COVID crap hit and I didn't work for 3 months, I was going wild crazy. Like
Oh my
shit
God.
crazy. I didn't even, I always found like stuff to do, and like even at that, like everything was closed and everything. So it's just like I didn't know what to do because I was always like because like I was always super busy all the time. Like I juggled like 2 or 3 jobs at the most, and when I didn't work, it's just like, okay, what should I do now? I was like so busy just working. How about you? Like how are you coping?
I've been coping okay. When this first started, like everyone else, like it was shocking. It was like you didn't know how to react to it and everything else. Like first like few weeks, to be honest with you, I felt like a little bit of anxiety and everything else, nervousness.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know,
like
like, yeah, I know. Like, I mean, I really like. I remember when COVID first hit. It was just like I kind of OCD because I was washing my hands so much,
oh my
and it was
God.
like all red on that side of my hand,
Oh
and
my
it was like
God.
irritated. I'm like, yeah, I OCD completely. So it was yeah, I didn't really know how to cope either. But I'm doing really well now. I'm like talking to friends about it if ever I feel anxious, or if I'm uncertain. I really have a great support system. So Joseph, welcome to the virtual dine-in, and thank you for accepting this dinner date with me, even though we're not even eating anything.
Oh,
I
my
forgot.
pleasure.
I kind of forgot my bottle of wine in the fridge
Oh
too.
my God.
I didn't
Oh,
even finish it.
oh my God. What kind of wine?
It's a white wine. Like it's very citrusy, but there's like a hint of melon that hits you afterwards, and it's really fresh to the palate. It was like $10 at the ACQ, so I'm like, yeah, and $10 for alcohol, no problem. I'm there.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. So yeah, welcome. And it's really great to see you. So before I go on, like let's have some introduction. So like, there's 4 people watching, probably gonna be even more after this. Yeah, so introduce yourself. So who are you? Where you're from? What do you do? Like
Yeah. Cool. Well, hi, my name is Joseph St. Marie. I'm an actor, I'm a photographer. Like right now, in terms of like my Joe job, a regular job, well, obviously there's nothing going on acting wise with COVID, but basically what I'm doing now for a job is actually a housekeeper at the hospitals.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you
basically I
like
start.
yeah, sorry.
No,
Go
go.
ahead.
Yeah. No, basically, I'm a housekeeper at the hospitals, like mainly around like no NDG, Cotonage, around that area. Like I helped the board like late April because they were desperate because a lot of housekeepers just left. So
Yeah.
there was a massive shortage, and I needed to work obviously to pay my own bills. So I'm doing that right now just to pay the bills and stuff. But that's pretty much been my life since late April. But apart from that, I've been okay, obviously.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I've just been chilling out mostly. Like,
Yeah,
basic.
no. No, for sure.
Yeah.
But and like, I mean, now that you mentioned you're working at the hospital, how is that with the whole COVID situation? Like, I mean, it must be like, even though like you must have been coping with it pretty well now, it's just like it's kind of scary though, right? Like, do you have like some sort of fear, like sometimes in the back of your mind?
Well, basically, I haven't really thought about it too much, to be honest with you. Like, I'd be lying if it didn't get to me a little bit. It has gotten to me a little bit because even just working at hospital itself is stressful. And like, it's gotten to me a few times when I just felt really sad and everything else. Like, it can be a bit tough. Like, sometimes you see some stuff sometimes.
Oh no, for sure.
I've been, I've been in the hot zones where many of the COVID patients are, or like were, I should say. And wearing the PPE everywhere else. Like I've had a few shifts where I had to go on the floors where it's like the hot zones, like where COVID patients only, where I have to double gown and double glove up and everything else. I'm actually cleaning the rooms where the patients are in, and it's like it's a different world. It's like it's kind
Hmm.
of is surreal. Like it's like at the time when you do it, you just do it. You don't really second guess yourself unless you're like feeling uncomfortable about it. But for me, I just did it head on, straight on, and it's just a very surreal feeling. It's just like I'm not gonna know the full extent of how I truly feel about it until this is over.
Oh no,
And
for
we,
sure.
yeah, and but at the same time, like you see, like sometimes, like a father, and like one time, like in the ICU, something that really got to me was like I think it was like a person in the hospital. And I think it was his son holding his hand, like stuff like that like could really get you, like makes you feel like you want to tear up. But I've earned like a lot of new respect for everyone who works at the hospitals, doctors, nurses, PABs, like all the different specialists, because it could be tough, but at the same time it's a grind. Like they just do it. You don't hear
No,
a lot
no,
about it,
no,
like
for
oh
sure.
my god.
Oh, for sure. Like, I mean, like they go head on, and like to all the frontline healthcare workers, those who are working at hospitals or in healthcare or anything. Like hats off to you. I give all my respect to you for putting yourself like out there at risk every single day. Yeah, yeah. So like, I mean, we have known each other for 9 years. Can you like freaking believe it? Like
uh,
like I think it was in my second year of volunteering at the Montreal French Festival, which we're gonna be talking
yeah.
about this now. So like I mean, 9 freaking years. Like I mean, I look back at it and I'm like, I was preparing myself mentally for this podcast, especially because I'm like, oh my god, 9 years.
Yeah. Yeah, especially I remember like when I first met you, you're very bubbly and stuff, very excited and everything else, and you're very enthusiastic at the festival, and it has been 9 years. Like I've been a part of it, friend, for 13 years. Well, since 2008 was my first time volunteering, and
Yeah.
obviously and obviously you've been a big part of that for like many years, like always volunteering, venue managing a lot.
Yes. I love to venue manage. Like I love like how every time people want to cause me problems, it's like, no, it's my way or it's still my way. Like I am there for that. I
Oh
am
my
like
god.
I am like the doorman at like a club, but like even though I don't have the physique for it, I have the freaking attitude for it. Like I feel that way so much when I venue manage.
Oh my god.
By the
And
way, yeah. So like I mean Montreal Fringe Festival. So like basically just to give a little I like this little story about how we actually met. So I volunteered at the Montreal Fringe back in 2011 where I met Joseph. Joseph actually had a play called Pushing Buttons, if I remember correctly.
elevated pushing buttons.
Elevated Pushing Buttons. Okay, I was
Oh my
close.
god.
I was freaking
Oh
close.
my
And then
god.
like I remember I was at the park and then I saw you reading a script and then I was just really curious. I'm like, oh, okay, so you're part of a show, right? So I think like
Yeah.
this is how the whole thing started for the both of
Yeah.
us.
Oh my god.
And then like every like fringe like since like this is where we reunited and everything. We cross each other in the street from time to time at pre-COVID when we
Yeah.
actually had a life, but
Mm.
where everybody had a life to
Oh
say the
my
least.
god.
Oh my god. But
Uh,
yeah, like we go back 9 years. So like I mean before I get to you, I ask you about what's like being an actor. Let's get to your photography for a second because like you actually do photography. So, explain to us this journey into being a photographer.
well, basically, like, this is going to be a funny story, a surprising story. I've been to CEGEP 3 times in my life.
Okay,
And basically, the first time I ever got into photography was when I was in Vanier. I did communications.
represent me too.
Oh
I did.
my God.
I'm darn as serious. I did. I
Yeah.
did too.
Yeah, I got into it. That's when I first got into it. I was like into theater, journalism as well.
Okay.
But for like, that's where I just truly discovered photography, like the old school black and white film, like the
Oh my
original
god, I
old
did that
style.
too. I did that too. It
Um,
was like so much fun being like in this little cabin and it's like, okay, it has to be completely dark, otherwise you ruin your film.
oh my God, getting into the reels, everything else. Like,
Oh my
I
god,
remember,
that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
yeah, and basically, like that was my first taste into photography there, and I pretty much like I was also into theater to acting too because I took the theater courses there too, acting courses there
Hmm.
too.
Me too.
And at that time, my interest was shifting a little bit. I finished Vanier. I originally actually was, this is a lesser known fact about me. I considered applying to the journalism program at that time.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, that was my original plan actually. Before I went to photography school, like my interest shifted slowly within the year after I finished Vanier.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like I wasn't sure the reason why I switched, but I thought to myself, I was working full time. I was like, you know what? Let's try something else. And I bought a small camera and a digital camera, and I tried it around a little bit. So I did that, and I thought maybe like I can do this as a career. So what I did was I kind of like looked into different programs. So I applied to Dawson's program. Like it seemed to be where I wanted and everything else. So I did that. Did that for 3 years. I finished. And basically like I didn't know really what to do with it, like with my photography and stuff. So at the time I started taking improv classes at Montreal Improv.
Okay.
And and that's when I slowly started to get known in a sense. Slowly but surely started to get known. And I started taking pictures of shows slowly here and there. And at the same time I kind of like miss acting. I really wanted to really try it again. And that's when I started like that's when the Fringe show came to be in a sense. Like I opted to do
Yeah.
it, and obviously with elevated pushing buttons, that like obviously like the show like wasn't a success per se, but at the same time I won Spirit of the Fringe that year,
Oh
and with
wow.
that, yeah, and with that is that actually opened a lot of doors from here on out. I got to know more and more people through QDF and the theater companies, and I really established myself more as a theater photographer and everything else. So
Oh yeah.
that's been my base for the last 10 years, and basically segueing into theater school. Basically, I thought there was this bigger urge for the acting because I actually wanted to be an actor since I was a kid, and obviously, personally, obviously, like I, what held me back was obviously like bad experience at high school and all that stuff, like anxiety, the usual stuff, like
Yeah.
stuff will hold you back. So I kind of like went into theater school like a bit late, and basically I've been mixing the two ever since.
Okay, that's amazing because like I mean I was at Vani for communications, and then like when I was in high school I didn't have that much confidence in myself, but I mean my I went to an art school. I went to FACE. So basically like we had like theater, art and music combined like part of our program for five, for high school for 5 years. And what I did like near the end of my high school is that not only did I did plays and everything that slowly gave me the confidence to perform, but also, I studied at the Montreal School of Performing Arts as well. So with their experience as well, like I really slowly gained up the confidence, and I really wanted to do theater. I wanted to act, and like this is exactly what I wanted to do. I think the reason for me why I kind of didn't go through with that is because like after I finished Vanya, I took a year off because I just wanted to take it easy and make money, work and everything. So I just said to myself, okay, I want to try something else. So I went into hotel management because the hotel industry is part of my family as well. My dad working in the hotel and my uncle graduating into a hotel program as well. And I think what COVID taught me is that, I think there was a reason why I kind of lost everything in a sense. Like, I didn't work. I didn't know what to do. It's because maybe COVID gave me the opportunity to start all over again. And, being in the entertainment industry is like maybe what I'm meant to do. And if I keep pushing myself and doing the work, maybe it's going to pay off eventually. And I mean, like, COVID has taught me like so many things. A lot of people are like, oh my God, 2020 is like the worst year of my life. It's
Yeah.
like, I think like it's enough for me. Well, yeah, in a way it was in one sense, but in another sense, like 2020 teaches you a lot of things. It's like, okay, you have to reshift. What do you need to do now? So where do you go on from there? That's what I wanted to say.
No, exactly. I know exactly how I feel because even this year, it has been an opportunity to reset, really reassess everything
Yeah, I
else,
know.
and for me, it's been a little bit about the little things. Like it was good in a sense of like for me, it was like the small tiny things. Like for me, it's like I've been watching more TVs and TV shows and films more than I have in previous years because I've actually been. This is a big confession. This is a little bit. This may reflect poorly on me as an actor, but I barely have watched like TV shows and films in the past like 10 years. Like I've been so far behind and I've been watching far more than I ever have before. And even like the littlest things, like I kind of like rediscovered my love for mainly like rock music and stuff, like listening to music and stuff, like discovering new bands, new music. And even like I got to frame some of my older posters I've been meaning to like put up in my apartment. Like it's like those tiny little things that actually mean on paper it may seem less, but in actually it may feel more. It makes you more whole in a sense. And even like for me, it's like for me before I want to die, I want to travel as much as I want as
Oh my
before I
God,
die.
traveling is part of my program too. Trust me.
Yeah, like I want to
Okay,
go Japan. Oh,
yeah, so we need to stop for a minute. Claudio Capri Comedy and Peter Bowen, please do not fight. This is to be reuniting and to keep the discussion going. So, Claudio, stop telling Peter to blow it up with his ass.
oh my
Did you see the
god.
comments?
I'm trying to find them. Yeah. Oh my god. Well, I
Yeah,
did
there's a
see
lot
it.
of
So
people. So like, you have three people watching. Some people picked in like previously. If you guys have anything to say, there's the comment tab below. A lot of
yeah.
people's been using it, but if not, there's the heart button. Send a lot of love to Joseph. One of
Yeah.
my I said like one of my like one of the nicest people and like like one of my favorite people. Like it's
Yeah.
that's true. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't say that much. Like I mean, I'll. You see, like the hearts are going.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Majid
actually
89
know.
say love you, Mel. I love you too, Majid. I hope, Majid, if you're still up for it, I got a spot for you. Just message me anytime. But yeah, so I mean, like talking about the entertainment industry, and both of us being actors, or us being in the entertainment industry and in itself, where do we go on from there now that that COVID hit and there's no more, the venues are closed, the concerts are not
Yeah.
happening, you know, the festivals are not happening, they all gone digital this year, maybe the next year, maybe 2 years or so. So where do we go on from there
It's a
in your
case of
mind?
yeah, in my mind, we just have to wait and see because a lot of people have gone online, and basically it's a chance to like expand our horizons a little bit. Excuse me, sorry about that. It's a chance to like really expand our horizons. Like a lot of companies are trying new things and everything else. Like a lot of people miss like the old style entertainment, being in a venue, everything else. I don't think it's going to die. It's going to come back no matter what. I
It's
think
just a
it's
matter
just
of time.
yeah, and it's also the case of like some people like in terms of the scene, some people will come and some people will go. And like I think it's gonna be a case of a new reset. Like
Hmm.
there'll be could be some new artists that could be coming by and everything
Yeah.
else. I think it is partially of being patient, but at the same time, like we've talked about earlier, it's a great opportunity to reset, really like reassess and everything else. So it's going to be a case of like new ideas will pop up that we may have never considered or no one has ever considered. So I think it depends. Well, it all depends on who comes, who
Yeah.
brings the ideas and everything else, and they're there. I see them all the time on Facebook and everything else on Instagram. Like people are trying, like some actors have taken up photography, and some other stuff has been going on film. Like they're still making more films, like short
Yeah,
films.
no.
Yeah, so it's still going to happen. It's still existing. Like it's just a case of like you have to adapt. And
Hmm.
theater
Yeah,
companies
for sure.
are adapting. Like Geordie Theater has adapted, and they're still doing their school tour, but just virtually online. They're still like streaming to the schools,
Oh,
and
okay,
even
yeah.
so, the companies are going along with like COVID and everything else. Like they're stepping up, and they're sticking by the guidelines, which is frustrating because like
It
a lot of companies,
limits.
yeah, there's
It limits
limits,
too,
but
yeah.
yeah, but at the same time, they're still being shut down, even though we've complied with the guidelines. Theater companies have complied with the guidelines, but I don't know. It's I can go on and on about it, but in terms of like what's the future of the scene, we'll be back.
No, for
Like I
sure.
said,
We'll be
yeah,
back. We'll be back.
yeah.
So, Claudio Capri actually has a question for you. So, Joseph, who is your dream director that you want to work with?
Ooh, oh my God. That's a
Because
very good
Claudio
one.
actually, like, I don't know if you, like, I don't think you guys met, but Claudio is kind of a movie buff as well. So I think that explains the question, you being an actor, being in the hot seat right now.
Oh,
So if you had to
oh,
pick, like, I can start because I know exactly who I want to work with as an actress.
yeah. Ooh.
So I'll start. Tim Burton.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
I love that. I want to drill into this guy's head for like a minute just to see what he's thinking, because like every time when he comes up with a movie or he's readapting something else, like for example when I think it was a couple of years ago, like Tim Burton actually did Alice in Wonderland,
Oh my
and
God.
I loved it. I love the imagination this guy has. Like nobody's like him.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is really putting me on the hot seat. Like sometimes I don't really
I hope you
follow
don't
that.
faint on me. Like we still have like at least another 30 minutes to go with
Oh my God.
it.
Oh shoot. Yeah, I may have to get back to me on that one, but how about this? I'll figure it out by the end of the show.
Got it. All right. So Claudio, if you stay long enough, like he's probably gonna have an answer for you. And you know, like going back to you, like watching more movies and more television now. Like to me, I think like with COVID, it was such the contrary. I don't watch that much TV
Mhm.
anymore. I don't watch that much movies, but I am on YouTube, I am on Facebook, I am on Instagram. I post social media content, and that's been like a part of my life, you know. To I'm a social media wizard, so to speak. Like I put it out there. So Claudio says will do. Okay, so he's gonna stick around for that for your answer at most. And I saw something previously. So Peter Bowen say, Joseph, what's up? So you and Peter Bowen, what's the story?
Basically, I met Peter when we like both worked at the. I think I'm not sure if he still works there, but I used to work at the airport.
Yes,
Uh,
you
ba-
told me that too. Yeah, a couple of years
yeah,
ago.
and that's where I met him because we worked at the same company.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, basically, I think like he worked at one restaurant, I worked at the other restaurant, and I think I'm trying to think when it was the exact moment. I don't remember. I think it was because I was going on the other side, just at the other restaurant, because like I used to work in the U.S. section, at a restaurant in the
Okay.
U.S. section. That was my placement first, and that's where the area where I met him. And we
Okay.
always talked a lot because we were doing a lot of different stuff, art stuff, and we hit it off pretty well. Like I haven't seen him in a while. I think the last time I saw him was at McKitten's.
Hmm.
I think during the one of the open mic nights was the last time I saw him there. I think it was like around this time last year, around like right before COVID hit. I think was the last time I saw him there. But
Oh,
he's a good
okay. Yeah.
guy.
No,
Yeah.
he's really cool. So, Peter, if you're still on, it is what it is, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just wondering, quick
That's his
question,
sort.
because
That is sort of like his sort of a catchphrase, so to speak.
Mhm.
It is what it
Oh,
is. That's how
yeah.
it says all the time. Yeah, you were about to say something. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, this is actually the first time I've used IGTV and stuff. I'm never knowing like what to look at the camera or look at the screen. Like I'm like trying to
I
think.
just look at the camera, but either way, you kind of look straight. Like either whether it's in the camera or in the screen, you kind of look straight. So I don't think there's not much of a difference.
Oh yeah, because I'm using my iPad right now. That's why. That's why I'm
Oh,
moving
okay.
around because I'm using my iPad. Because I wasn't sure with my computer or not.
Oh
Like
no,
whether
usually the computer it doesn't work. Like I am on my phone like all the time. Like no, we do not have time for computers. Like either is the iPad, either is a phone or tablet. That's the only requirement that I'm asking. I'm not like I'm not like most podcasters though. I never prepare for a show. But I
oh
do the booking myself. So like I mean I have no help at all except for an
yeah,
iPhone. It better be
yeah.
working for the next 2 years.
Oh my god.
Oh
Yeah.
man, but memories. Oh my God, it's been like 9 years. I could go on and on. Like what when we were at the Montreal the Montreal Fringe. Though I think like I was like it, like in French we say the chouchou. Like the teacher's pet. Like
Oh my
everybody
god.
liked me because I was there all the time.
Oh my god.
Oh my God, but yeah,
Ah,
that was like that was a good one. And I think like what I love about the Fringe is that it's so independent and it actually helps artists.
yeah.
Not
No,
like
it's
not like the bigger ones, but like like that's what the main goal is.
no, exactly. And there's a lot of people, like a lot of artists that really can come up through the Fringe over the years because it's one of the only places where you can really show your work and everything else.
Yeah.
That's why, like, more than ever before. And I was actually supposed to do a show this year. I actually got
Yeah.
into the this year I was supposed to do, and obviously postponed because of COVID. But like as a testament how much demand there is, the wait list the last time I saw it for people trying to get a show, and even after the lottery was like, I think like 90 companies on the waiting list on the English side, or like maybe 70 companies, everything else, and like 50 on the French side still like were on the waiting list.
Oh
Even
wow.
international, yeah, and there's a lot of artists that like are because it's so expensive to like rent a venue and everything else, like the lack of places to go. And it's cheaper to do a show at the Fringe compared to everywhere else. So it's one of the
No,
few
yeah,
places.
for sure.
Yeah, so it's an opportunity. And yeah, so like we'll be like I said, we'll be back. Like the artists will be back and everything else. Like and it could be like new ideas and everything else, but I miss the Fringe. It was weird.
I miss it too. I miss it too. I miss like venue managing. I miss like like eating food. When in reality nobody was there to buy their tickets, so I just like was
Oh.
eating or like listening to the show in the back, and everything. But I like there's a topic, like since we're talking about theater and everything, like just to get your perspective because I know you're the wrong person to ask, but I'm still gonna do it anyways. Um, for those of you who are tuning in or who's gonna be watching this year there's been a sort of story that marked that made headline in the news about the the theater industry. I'm talking about, Dawson College, and, the allegations against the teacher because he was expressing inappropriate behavior towards some of his students. Even though like he's no longer there, and the actions have been taken. I think like in the theater community, and even though you're not technically a part of it, but people who are victims of this story, or me as a myself as a woman, is like I think like when this whole story like came out, it shook everybody to the core. Like, I mean, I felt so uncomfortable, and on my Facebook, I kind of expressed what I thought, and I'm like, it's just not really right that I as a woman, you know, being into theater, and being in the entertainment industry, that I still don't feel safe in a way. But that really shook to the core. So I mean, like, what are your thoughts about the whole story about Dawson College? Because I mean, like,
Um,
because even at that though, like, just to wrap this question up, also, we're not talking about 3 years when the allegations started to pop up again. This is over 20 years of
yeah.
accusations, and nothing
Well,
was made then.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. I've heard stories about him actually for years. So like I think the only thing was it's like it finally happened because I've heard over the years stories about this professor. Like for I think the first time I heard about it was like 5, 6 years ago. I heard about the stories about him and everything else. And it's like basically Dawson is a very bureaucratic place. It always has been since the beginning. Like I remember at the time when I was at Dawson, I was actually part of the plant, which was the Dawson College newspaper and stuff. And I
Okay.
kind of stumbled upon a story about what ended up being like infighting within the fine arts department over there, and it's like so bureaucratic and everything else. Not the same thing, but point being, it's like it seemed quite a complicated atmosphere at Dawson, like a lot of different stuff, and obviously it's a different thing than what you're talking about, but I think it's just a case of like they have to redefine everything else. Even at when I went to theater school at John Abbott, there was one teacher that kind of like we had a lot of issues with and everything else, like, and he had to be reprimanded. And it
Okay. Yeah.
happened
For sure.
not too long ago. Obviously, I won't say the person's name, but like he was reprimanded a few years ago, and obviously like Abbott had to make a statement about it, saying that we had the department had to deal with its own issues, and they are, and it's a oh my god,
It's really yeah, I
yeah.
know, like, you have difficulty talking about it too, and I mean, even though I never was a Dawson student, because I didn't want to go to Dawson, because like all the people in high school mostly went to Dawson, so I just didn't want nothing to do with them. That was the main reason. But like, I mean, either way, it could have happened, anywhere, but it just showed that, when it came to being a working actor, or an actress, like, and so to speak, it's just like, if it just also shows, like, in life, if you're a guy, you have nothing to worry about. But if you're a girl, it's like, oh, we have to learn, like, how to protect ourselves, we have to cover up, we have to do this, we
Yeah.
have to do that. There's always like this sort of list, though. And I mean, like, even for the future generations, even though if one day you're gonna have a family, or I'm gonna have a family, I'm just gonna say, I'm not gonna protect my daughter. I'm gonna educate my son that this is not completely right.
Yeah.
And I think, like, the teacher in question has gone got away with it for so long, but it took so long also, where actions have been taken finally.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like no one took it seriously and everything else. And another a
Yeah,
bigger
that's why
problem
we're never
is
we're never taken seriously as a woman, as women too.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
we
no,
still we have to, like, I don't know why, like, in ways we always have to justify ourselves still. So
well, I think like yeah, exactly. And thing is, like, it's unfortunate, and also worse is, and like here's another interesting story about this is that he was protected by the union too, like a little bit because the problem with Dawson is I discovered apparently the terms of like in terms of firing teachers, policy of firing teachers wasn't as clear cut. Like basically they tend to like obviously protect their members and everything else, which is fine. But in terms of like bad behavior, there's no proper policy in place. And
Hmm.
to like they tend to like always protect, not so much intentionally protect bad workers, but there's no policy in terms of like terminating employment. Like it's always a bureaucratic mess, and that's what happened here. It just became so bureaucratic that nothing got done. And it's just like public. It's unfortunate that there had to be public pressure in order to get something a person
Yeah, I
like him
know.
fired. And it's like everywhere else. And like fortunately, like obviously for the future and stuff, fortunately because the people that stood up and said something, that actions could be taken. But that's always been the case. It's like someone has to stand up in order for actual change to happen. They won't listen to anyone else unless someone really has to make a stand and do something big. And that's always has to be a case. And obviously, like female students need to be obviously have the right to be protected and like oh my god, I have so many thoughts like
No,
running
I
through
know.
my
I
head
me
right
too, me too. Like, I mean, when I first discovered that story, I discovered it on Facebook. Though there was an article by CTV. You know, that's where I
now.
first found out about it this year. But you know, like even at that, like I kind of find it sad that we all have goals and dreams that we want to achieve. We like, and we all have something we want to do for the rest of our lives. It's just really sad that if we need to have an education, or we want to go to school to learn, or we want we go to school to acquire skills, it's just schools have always been a business and not a safe safe environment to
Mm.
learn, and this is like something that was one of the things that I thought about it, because even at that, like if you go, also Concordia has been in hot water for a couple of times too this year, being like
Yeah.
sexual assault in universities as well. And like the school said, you know even at that, they don't want to like they decided not to do anything about it. So like school was always a business to begin with.
Well, yeah, I
It's
think like
everywhere. It's like everywhere, and I think like it's kind of like sad. So like, what do schools like exist for if we can't be safe into what we want to pursue in? And this is like exactly like at Dawson, like we're in school to learn, and especially like us being like I being a woman, like if I was still in school, it's like I don't need to go through that sort of behavior. And to say yes just because I'm scared, like we shouldn't have to feel that way. Nobody should, whether
yeah.
it's a male or female. Nobody should have to go that way.
Well, I think it's
Should
like
feel that way.
yeah, like obviously it's like colleges, universities have become so bureaucratic over the years. A lot of it has to do with donations and everything else. Like when there was a lot of budget cuts over the last like few decades and stuff, like I think more college and universities depended on donations or like big donors and everything else. Like even corporations have donated a lot of money to the university and everything else. So it became more bureaucratic and everything else and more like felt like more like a business and everything else. And obviously, in terms of policies like sexual harassment policies and stuff, it should have been more stricter and everything else. Like obviously, like if someone obviously like a teacher has been accused and everything else, it should be investigated and the person should be fired. And there should be more protections where victims can really go to and be taken seriously and everything else. And I don't know why like it's taken so long. But
Yeah, I know. That's what puzzled me, because like I mean, even at that one, I started following the story since I found out about it, through articles, through interviews and everything. It's just like, okay, so I'm just saying those accusations surfaced 3 years ago because somebody, and I'm gonna say somebody, or she or he, or just to protect everybody's names, um, because this person decided to move forward. But if we dig deep, it's just like it has been an issue for 20 plus years. But like I feel like even 20 plus years, like people didn't have like the social medias, or news crews following them too. So like I mean, even at that, like the way that their lives we're live is completely different compared to today. Today, like, you know, if you want to speak out, there's social media, there's the, you know, you can make videos, you can post them, you know, like social media has been so powerful, like it has been such a powerful tool over the years that, you know, 20 years ago it just didn't really exist. So,
Yeah.
but you know, at the same time, you know, even at that, like when, you know, I'm just gonna say this to, like, you know, my as a woman, and to all the guys that are gonna be watching this, if a, like, please educate yourself, and please do not make us feel like scared, because like we don't even have to, because like we shouldn't have to feel that we have to look like in the back to see if somebody's following us. We don't shouldn't have to, you know, cover ourselves because you're gonna look at us up and down. You know, like just stop doing it. I don't even know how to do it. I don't even know how to, I don't even know how to say it. I think enough is enough, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it's just a case of like it goes back into a little bit of like protecting victims' rights and everything else. I think just the due process system needs to be modernized, and a lot of reform needs to happen. When someone, obviously it's like accusations made out and the victim wants to report this to authorities, that like obviously that those accusations need to be taken seriously and everything else.
Yeah.
Like a better court system, proofs improvements in the court system, due process system needs to be modernized and everything else. There's been some progress, but more needs to be done. I think
No,
I think
exactly.
that's been a big issue. That just needs to be improved.
No, no,
But
for
in
sure.
terms of
And
and just going back in terms of like theater communities, everything else, a lot of companies are modernizing everything else, improving the policies and everything else. Like John Abbott, where I went to theater school with, put out a policy asking like, how do you want to reform the program? Obviously, what improvements do you want to see in the program and everything else,
yeah.
in terms of like mental health and everything else. So like, I think theater schools are going to improve after this, including Dawson. There's going to
Mm-hmm.
be a lot of searching and everything else, and I'm sure the colleges and universities, I think, are going to like take a better look and obviously of their policies and everything else, because something has to change. Like improvements need to be made.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, like, you know, if somebody speaks out, like, please believe them, because otherwise, they could, it might take a really more serious turn. If you don't believe them, it's gonna take a toll on their mental health, or, you know, like, it's gonna make them wonder, like, why nobody believes me, or anything. So it's just like, you know, it's, if somebody comes to you for help, please take them seriously. That's all I gotta say. Me being, you know, suffering from depression and anxiety, me being part of the, you know, me having, you know, mental illnesses as well. You know, it's just like it could be draining, and I think that, you know, if you lend a hand when somebody asks you for help, like I think it could help a lot. You know,
Yeah,
it could help a lot. Yeah.
exactly.
So going back to Claudio Capri's question about who you want, which director you want to work with.
Oh boy. I'm just gonna go with not so much an easy answer, but it's on the list. Definitely on top five answer. Obviously Spielberg, Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
I know it's probably a common like answer, but still
I said
like
Tim
I
Burton. I
wouldn't mind.
went way off from the Steven
Yeah,
Spielberg.
yeah. But with Spielberg, there was a good documentary about him, like about the films he made over the years and everything else, like the themes he explored. And that's why, like, obviously, like, he's someone you can work with. He really deep dives into like issues about family and stuff, like like themes. Oh my God, I'm trying to like think of the words and everything else and just stumbling all over it. But it'll for sure be Steven Spielberg. That is my answer.
Okay, that's okay, cool. So Claudio Capri, he answered, he goes for Steven Spielberg, while I'll go with Tim Burton, because I live in a fantasy world, you know, like, or yeah, I want to do a film with Tim Burton, like, but I want to do like Disney style, like,
Uh,
I want to have Disney and Tim Burton like in a movie that I'll be starring in, and I'll be like the happiest woman. Like, even though I would die like the next day, I'm like, I have accomplished what I needed to accomplish.
oh,
Oh my god, man. Yeah, so like I saw that, like you mentioned also that, you know, this year at the Fringe you were accepted. So talk to us about the play that you were going to be a part of.
Well, originally, this is my original answer, and this was the story I was going to, this play I was going to do. But if basically whenever the Fringe happens again, I'm actually going to be doing another different show. But this is the show I initially was going to do.
Okay.
Basically, basically the play I initially was going to do was a play about like a show within a show. Like basically, it's
Ooh.
about two-person play, and basically about like an actor and a director, and basically about a person doing one person show, and they rehearse it, but the director starts to have concerns about the script, asking why did he write it this way and everything else, and it turns into a big conversation about the process, everything else, because like the person wrote like a personal story about him, but it didn't feel authentic. So it
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like it's about a journey how to make it a show more fruitful. So it's like kind of like it's kind of like in a sense like a like opening the curtain, quote unquote, like on like a one man show and stuff. Like it's kind of like a different take, but it's kind of like challenging an artist to be more authentic on stage and more like telling a fruitful story. And like that's the show I initially was going to do for the Fringe, and I'm going to a different direction. But
Yeah.
again, I say this now, but then again, we'll see how things pan out the next little while. And but then again, like I'm sure I'll do that show again, but I'm developing a different idea right now. But
So yeah. So like I mean if you had to collaborate with somebody that's done the Fringe before, like of all the people
oh,
that you met at the Fringe, of
oh
all
my
the
god.
actors or the directors that you, like or the directors of plays that you have met at the Fringe, who would you want to collaborate with the most and why?
Oh boy.
Why are you
Oh my
rolling your
god.
eyes in front of me? I
No, no,
never
no,
done
no.
that
Because
yet.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying
Yet.
to think. I'm trying to
Can
think.
you
No, I'm
please?
just trying to think. I have these bad habits over the years.
Don't worry, I've rolled my eyes in front of
Yeah,
my parents before, so like they didn't hit me yet.
yeah. No, yeah. Basically, oh my god. I was like always wanted to work with Shane, like Shane Amzak. Like I've actually
Oh
like
yeah, yeah, that's a good choice.
yeah, I haven't seen him. I think I haven't seen him in a long time, but he's like I've always been a big fan of his, like as an artist and everything else. Like I remember we both like one time did Sunday night improv together, just like one time only and everything else. Like that was really fun. And no, he's a really cool man. I hope he's doing well. Like I should just say hi, like say how. I should write just the right message saying how have you been and everything else, just like to really check in and all that stuff. But Shane was someone I really want to work with and everything else. There's a lot of people I want to work with in the scene and everything else, but in terms of fringe artists, it'll definitely be Shane.
That's so cool. So like I mean, if I were to do a show and I had to collaborate, like aside from you, if there's one person I say aside from you, so there's two, all right? Aside from you. If there's one person I want to collaborate, I want to collaborate with DK Rainmer, the guy
Oh,
that does
DK.
the guy that does like Magic Mike or something.
Yeah.
He's one of the funniest guys. Like I swear to God, like I love like every time when he posts something on social media, like I just kind of go along with it. So he did like a creepy face, and it's like, okay, show me your best creepy face, and he said I've done it perfectly. So I'm like,
Oh
yeah,
my god.
I think I would do it. I would collaborate with him well
Oh my
because like
god.
there's a lot of people like I feel that there's a lot of people that like me, but I'm like, okay, I like you're cool, but I don't vibe with you.
Oh
There's a
my god.
difference. Like I'm that person. I'll be honest.
Oh my god. Oh, DK is pretty cool.
DK
Like
is pretty
hope
cool.
yeah, I hope he comes back to town. Like obviously when the
Oh
fringe
my
comes
god,
up
he has
again.
to. He has to. Like he has to do another show at the Fringe though. Like and every time when he passes me by, it's like, oh okay, it's time to take a selfie. Like he's all up for it every time when it's me. Oh my god, but you know, like the Fringe is a lot of fun. Like me taking pictures, me taking selfies with artists and everything.
Oh my
Like
god.
I had like oh my god, like for us, like 9 years, it has been like really fun. You know, nine
Yeah.
years of friendship. We need to like when the whole COVID thing finish like it's over, like and we get to meet, it's like, yeah, we need to celebrate that because it's been so long.
Oh no, definitely like the first chance we get, obviously the fringe after the pandemic, it's gonna be a
Yeah.
big one. A lot of people are gonna come out for it
Huge,
because
yeah.
a lot of
Exactly.
people really miss it and everything else. Like I really miss it. And like I said, it was very weird for for there not to be. I know there was one online. This is not Fringe, which I
But it's not the
saw.
same thing. Like the vibe is not the same thing though, because you look at the screen, but it's just like every time when you go see a play, it's just like okay, you feel the energy.
Yeah, but oh my God, it's like it was weird. Like I'm just going back to it. It just feels weird. Like that I wasn't there. And obviously, I went by Fringe Park a few times in June, and it was just so empty. I was like,
Yeah, no, it's like, well, where's everybody?
yeah. I remember like one year, like I used to be like my first few years volunteering. I was like part of the Fringe set. I volunteered to help set up the park. And I remember one time, like it was drenching rain. It was like pouring so heavily. I remember like getting the tables out and everything else, putting up the fences and all around, just being completely soaked and everything else. And even just like the small little shifts, like just picking up, cigarette butts and everything else, just cleaning up the park, just wiping down everything else. I finally managed to for a few years. Even like I was, this was like, I'll be honest, I didn't really have much friends hang out a lot for a few years and stuff, apart from like places I worked beforehand. And this was like the first few places where I really like put myself out there in a sense. Like
Yeah.
it gave me a lot. Like the Fringe gave me a lot, and even just think about it, like sometimes it's like sometimes you don't appreciate it enough. Like sometimes what festival and everything else, like the people you meet there, it's like you forget all about it. And what the hell is this?
I'm looking at the
What the
comments
hell
too.
is
I'm
this?
like, I'm just looking at the screen right now.
What the
Someone
hell?
say,
Like, what
you
is
want
it?
to give her to Marie. Like, okay, I don't get
Yeah,
it, but okay. Like, if you want to be a comedian, like maybe try a little bit harder on the comments to begin with, and then maybe work your way up.
yeah, no,
I,
exactly.
I
Oh
just
my God,
dissed. I
Jesus.
never knew I could be like that sarcastic.
Oh my God, Jesus. Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, 9 years,
Hey,
If you had,
yeah.
there's something you want to give me,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
jeez.
Oh God. Oh my God.
All
Crazy,
right,
crazy.
so this episode is brought to you by sarcasm to the max.
Oh my
Near the end of
God.
the podcast.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I'm sure you're gonna have nightmares about this like tonight
yeah,
when you go to
probably.
sleep.
Oh. Oh my God.
Oh my god, man.
Uh,
So Joseph, so before I let you go, do you have anything to if you do you have any like final words? Do you want to say hi to anybody? You want to give a few shout outs or
um,
anything? Like the floor is all yours.
I just want to say to everyone like who I know there, hi there, and I hope everyone is doing well. Like I miss you guys. I hope you guys are staying safe. Everything else, I hope your families are all good and staying safe. Yeah, be well. I can't wait to see you guys again. And I don't know, I'm getting emotional actually.
Oh, but I'm getting emotional because it's been like
Yeah,
I don't know. I know it's been like a couple years that we've known like we saw each other like a year or 2 years ago, but it's just like we've known each other for like 9 freaking years, and I get emotional too. Like don't
uh,
start crying.
yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh God.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Okay. Are you okay?
but
You okay? You okay,
but
babe?
yeah, I'm all good. But I hope you're. Oh my God.
It's okay. Let it
I
go.
hope. Oh my God.
We
But
have to. We have. I swear to you, we have to like hang out. Like
yeah,
when all of this is over, at most, like if you want to hang out, like I know 2 meter distance with a mask. Like I know this, but it's just like when all of this is over, like I swear to you, we're gonna hang out.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah, no, definitely, and yeah, I can't wait. Oh my God, I'm just like so many like thoughts going through my mind there. But hope you're doing well. Everything else, and
Yeah, just I'm just happy to be back at work and being like the busy girl I was always like last year. But like yeah, I get to do this podcast. It's been like going really well. Like there's a lot of people that's been giving me so much support like doing this. I just feel like I feel so grateful for what I have.
Yeah. No, and I hope you continue doing the podcast and everything else. Like this has been pretty fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's gonna get even more fun.
Yeah, oh my God.
Then in the next couple episodes, like we'll see what's gonna happen.
Oh my God.
Well,
Uh,
anyway, I'm gonna let you go. So have a great night, and I want to say thank you for accepting this invitation from me. And yeah, we're gonna hang out. I promise.
cool. Thank you, Mel. Take
All
care.
right, take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
All right, there you have it, guys. This has been the show. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. A lot of people have been writing like so many comments and peeking in. Like I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support from the bottom of my heart. Just want to let you guys know that this episode will be available shortly on my IGTV. So you guys can follow me at Rio_the light for more content. All of my previous episodes are available as well. And if you guys want, I also have my previous podcast called the LGBT Pillow Talk Podcast that is now available on my IGTV as well. Until then, stay safe, be well, and have a dinner date.